Well, hello again, my fall Bible reading challenge buddies. I am here today to give a very brief introduction to the Gospel according to Mark, the book of Mark, as we are now, we ended the book of Acts and we are entering into, now we're going to be reading the book of Mark. And so I wanted to give you just a brief overview and history, some interesting things about the book of Mark before we start reading, because it's always good to have some context, right? So the Gospel according to Mark was written by John Mark, a close associate of Peter, and he also accompanied Paul and Barnabas on their first missionary journey. It was written between 65 and 70 AD, and here's something interesting to note is that Mark structures his gospel around various geographical movements of Jesus that is different from the other gospels. It is the shortest of all the gospels, leaving out the genealogy of Jesus, his birth, and early ministry. It is action-packed, okay? Jumping from one scene to another very rapidly. In comparing the Gospels, one analogy that could be used is that John's Gospel is a studied portrait of the Lord, Matthew and Luke's Gospels, each a series of colored slides, and Mark's like a motion picture of the life of Jesus. So we just finished Acts, and that was really exciting. I think that is just like, wow. And now we're going right into Mark, which is another action-packed book. He uses the word immediately 42 times in his gospel, which is more than all the rest of the New Testament combined, and it denotes continuous action. He also uses graphic, striking phrases, often to help readers engage and form pictures in their minds of the scenes being witnessed and described. So if you need that, extra you need things to grab your attention, this is the book for you. He highlights the looks and gestures of Jesus, which is another interesting thing. And another observation is that Mark placed very little emphasis on Jewish laws and customs, supporting the idea that he was writing to a primarily Gentile Roman audience. And the book of Mark can be divided into two parts. Chapters 1 through 10 focuses on who Jesus is, the Messiah, and chapters 11 through 16, the end, focuses on the purpose that Jesus came to fulfill. And how fitting is that? Because right now in Women of Prayer, we are also going over, our theme is identity and purpose. And so we're talking a lot about that subject, but the second half of Mark is on the purpose that Jesus came to fulfill. One ancient church historian believed that Mark recorded Peter's eyewitness accounts, which makes a lot of sense, knowing a little of Peter's personality and how he was, seeing how much action Mark records. So that is all that I have for you today. Let's dive in to Mark.